Today we will be learning about Lesson 64 in Phonics, the last job of Y. You already know that Y has many jobs. You have learned that Y borrows the sound of long I and short I. In this lesson, you will learn that Y also borrows the sound of long E when it is in a word with more than one syllable. The last rule for Y is when Y comes at the end of a word and another working vowel comes before it, Y will usually have the sound of long E. Let's learn this rule using the word lady. We're going to mark this word from left to right. The first vowel we will mark in this word is the vowel A. There is another vowel in this word, and it is Y, and we know that Y is a vowel in this word because it's not at the beginning of the word, so we are going to mark this Y. Now let's look at the first vowel because we have two working vowels. Remember, one consonant must run, so we are going to split this word between the A and the D. This follows phonetic skill 3, the first syllable does, so we're going to mark that vowel long. The last job of Y tells us that Y will have the sound of long E if it comes at the end of the word and if there is another working vowel before it. Y is located at the end of this word and there is another working vowel before that Y. Because Y is the last letter in the word and it follows another working vowel, it will borrow the sound of E, so we will mark the Y by putting an E above it. According to the 5 phonetic skills, this follows phonetic skill 3, so we are going to mark this E long. And then we're going to box in this syllable. Our first syllable says lay, the second syllable says D, lady. The lady was fishing in a stream. Let's prove another word that ends in Y. We are going to mark beneath this word from left to right. We're going to mark our A, and we know that this Y is a vowel because it's not at the beginning of the word, and we're going to mark that with an X because it's a vowel. We have two working vowels, so we're going to come back to our first vowel, and we know that one must run, so we are going to split this between the A and the B, and we notice that our first syllable follows phonetic skill 3, so our A is going to be long. This Y is at the end of a word, and there's another working vowel before it, so it's going to take the long E sound, so we're going to put an E above it, and then we know that it follows phonetic skill 3, so it's going to be long, and we are going to box this in. So Y is borrowing the E sound. This word is baby. The first syllable says bay, the second syllable says B. The baby was crying because it was hungry. The last rule for Y is when Y comes at the end of a word and another working vowel comes before it, Y will usually have the sound of long E. The word usually means almost always, but sometimes Y at the end of a word with more than one syllable has the sound of long I. Let's learn about the NFL rule. Y will have the sound of long I at the end of a word with more than one syllable if the word is a verb, which means it's an action word, and you can use it in the I can statement, and the letters N, F, or L come right before the Y. Words that follow this pattern can be called NFL words. Let's prove a word together to show the NFL rule. All right, let's mark this word. We are going to mark the E. We are going to mark the Y because it is a vowel. We're going to come back to the first vowel because it has two working vowels. And we notice that there's one consonant after it, so one must run. So we're going to split it between the E and the N. Our first syllable follows phonetic skill 3, so it's going to say D. Now we need to look at this Y. Is this Y a working vowel? It is. Does it have another working vowel before it? It does. It has the E. Is the Y the last letter in the word? It sure is. Now we need to ask another question. Which consonant comes before the Y? N comes before the Y. Since the answer is one of the letters N, F, or L, let's ask one final question. Is this word a verb? Well, this word is deny, and so it is a verb. If the Y follows any of the consonants N, F, or L, and the word is a verb, then the Y returns to the long I sound. To mark it, first we write a small I above the Y. Then we mark the I long. And then we're boxing that in. The first syllable says D. The second syllable says nigh. The word is deny. I cannot deny the fact that you are a smart class. Let's look at this word. Let's mark this word beneath it from left to right. We're going to mark the E. We're going to mark the Y because it's at the end of the word. Now we're going to come back to the first E, and we know that it has one consonant following it, so one must run. So we're going to split the word between the E and the F, and this follows phonetic skill 3. So our E is going to be long. This first syllable says D. Now we need to come back and look at this Y. Does this Y have a working vowel before it? It does. Is it the last letter? It sure is. Now we have to ask our next question. Which consonant comes before the Y? Is it an N, F, or an L? It is an F in this word. And now we need to find out if it's a verb. Defy is a verb. So this Y is going to end in long I. So I'm going to write a little I above it, mark it long, and we are going to box it in. The first syllable says D. The second syllable says phi. This word is defy. An astronaut can defy gravity in space. Now let's practice our last job of Y words. I'm going to read them. You read them with me. Pony, ruby, tiny, reply, shady, baby, lady, phony, spicy, flaky, juicy, hazy, bony, puny, fruity, navy, shiny, wavy, deny, rely. Now let's read our sentences together. Hazel wants to be in the Navy. The lady did not deny that she has a bony pony. The shiny ruby was a phony. Now you go ahead and read those words. Now read the sentences. Today in our lesson, we learned the last job of Y. The last job of Y is that when it comes at the end of the word and it has another working vowel, in it, it is going to take the sound of long E. Now, that does that usually, which means almost always, but sometimes when Y is at the end of the word and it has N, F, or L before it, and it is a verb, it is going to take the sound of long I. That is the NFL rule.